Sabrina Annlynn Carpenter, born May 11, 1999, is an American singer, songwriter, and actress. She first gained prominence starring as Maya Hart on the Disney Channel series Girl Meets World, 2014 to 2017. She signed with the Disney-owned Hollywood Records and achieved limited success with studio albums Eyes Wide Open, 2015, Evolution, 2016, Singular Act 1, 2018, and Singular Act 2, 2019. Carpenter joined Island Records in 2021, releasing her fifth album, Emails I Can't Send, 2022, featuring the multi-platinum singles Nonsense and Feather. Her sixth studio album, Short and Sweet, 2024, topped the U.S. Billboard 200 and won 2 Grammy Awards. It produced the global #1 singles Espresso and Please Please Please, the latter becoming her first to top the U.S. Billboard Hot 100. Her seventh studio album, Man's Best Friend, 2025, also topped the Billboard 200 and spawned the U.S. #1 single, Man-Child. Carpenter has appeared in films including Adventures in Babysitting, 2016, The Hate U Give, 2018, The Short History of the Long Road, 2019, Clouds, 2020, and Emergency, 2022. She has also starred in the Netflix films Tall Girl, 2019, Tall Girl 2, 2022, and Work It, 2020, the last of which she executive produced. On Broadway, she played Caddy Heron in the musical Mean Girls, 2020. Early life, Sabrina Annlynn Carpenter was born on May 11, 1999, in Quakertown, Pennsylvania, to David and Elizabeth née Snyder Carpenter, and raised in East Greenville. Her eldest sister, Shannon, is a dancer. Her older sister, Sarah, is her creative partner and a photographer. They have an older paternal half-sister, Kyla, who is a hairdresser and makeup artist. Their father is a stepbrother of actress Nancy Cartwright. Carpenter was homeschooled and moved to Los Angeles when she was 13. She began studying voice at the age of 6. Around the age of 10, she began posting videos on YouTube of herself singing Christina Aguilera and Adele songs. Her father built a recording studio for her to fuel her passion for music. Career 2008 to 2014. Breakthrough with Disney. In October 2008, Carpenter was one of 7,000 to enter the online singing contest, The Next Miley Cyrus Project, run by Miley Cyrus. She placed 3rd in 2010. Around this time, Carpenter signed with manager Bill Pearlman. Carpenter signing autographs at Marine Corps Air Station Cherry Point, Havelock, North Carolina in 2014. Carpenter's first acting role was in 2011 in a guest role on the NBC drama series Law and Order Special Victims Unit. Around the same time, she performed as part of the Hunan Broadcasting System's Gold Mango Audience Festival in China, singing Something's Got a Hold on Me. In the summer of 2012, Carpenter had a recurring role in the Fox sitcom The Goodwin Games. She appeared as young Marin Williams in Horns, 2013, and recorded Smile for the compilation album Disney Fairies, Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust, inspired by the Disney Fairies film series. The song charted on Radio Disney. She had a recurring role as Princess Vivian in Sophia the First from 2013 to 2018, for which she recorded various songs, including All You Need with Ariel Winter. In January 2013, Carpenter was cast in a Disney Channel series, Girl Meets World, a spin-off of Boy Meets World, as Maya Hart. The show consisted of 72 episodes and concluded on January 20th, 2017. Carpenter recorded the show's theme song alongside her co-star, Rowan Blanchard. From 2010 to 2013, Carpenter released various independent promotional singles before signing a 5-album deal with Disney label Hollywood Records in 2014. In March 2014, Carpenter released her debut single, Can't Blame a Girl for Trying, which was co-written by Meghan Trainor. The single received positive reviews and titled her debut EP of the same name that was released in April 2014. In July 2014, Carpenter contributed lead vocals to the Disney Channel Circle of Stars cover of Do You Want to Build a Snowman? She recorded Stand Out for the Disney Channel movie How to Build a Better Boy, which premiered in August 2014. She released her first Christmas single, Silver Nights, that same year. 2015 to 2017, Eyes Wide Open and Evolution. In January 2015, Carpenter released We'll Be the Stars. It served as the lead single for her debut studio album, Eyes Wide Open, which was released on April 14, 2015, and peaked at number 43 on the Billboard 200. The album is primarily a teen pop album with elements of folk pop. According to Billboard, it sold over 12,000 copies in its first week. Upon release, the album received positive reviews and went on to win 2 Radio Disney Music Awards. The album was followed with a second single, Eyes Wide Open. In August, Carpenter performed at the D23 Expo. In December, Carpenter released her second Christmas single, Christmas the Whole Year Round. Carpenter performing live at the Jingle Ball at Staples Center in Los Angeles in 2016. In February 2016, Carpenter released the standalone single titled Smoke and Fire. She performed the song at the 2016 Radio Disney Music Awards. In June 2016, Carpenter starred as Jenny Parker in the Disney Channel original movie Adventures in Babysitting 2016 alongside Sophia Carson. For the film, the two performed the theme track Wild Side together. Later that year, she appeared in a Pasadena Playhouse production of Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, A Pirate's Christmas. In August, Carpenter headlined the Bethlehem's Music Fest Festival. She began voicing Melissa Chase on Milo Murphy's Law. In October 2016, Carpenter released her second studio album, Evolution, which debuted on the Billboard 200 at number 28, selling 13,000 copies in its first week. The album included 2 singles, On Purpose, which was nominated for a Radio Disney Music Award, and Thumbs, which peaked at number 1 on Billboard's Bubbling Under Hot 100 chart, and was later certified platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. 2 promotional singles were released from the album, including All We Have Is Love and Run and Hide. Carpenter performed Thumbs on The Today Show and The Late Late Show with James Corden. She embarked on her first headlining concert tour, the Evolution Tour, in autumn of 2016. In March 2017, Carpenter performed the theme song for the Disney Channel show Andy Mack. In May, Carpenter featured on the single Hands with the Vamps and Mike Perry. In July, Carpenter released the single Why, which received positive reviews and peaked at number 21 on the Billboard Bubbling Under Hot 100, becoming her second entry on the chart. It was nominated for a Radio Disney Music Award. In the summer of that year, Carpenter embarked on her second headlining concert tour, The Detour. She opened for Ariana Grande on her Dangerous Woman tour in Sao Paulo. In December, Carpenter released a cover of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. That same year, she released covers of Sign of the Times and You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch with British singer Jasmine Thompson and violinist Lindsey Sterling, respectively. 2018 to 2020. Singular and film projects. In March 2018, Carpenter released the song Alien with English DJ Jonas Blue. The song reached number 1 on the U.S. Dance Club Songs chart and number 12 on the U.S. Dance Electronic Songs chart. The duo performed it on Jimmy Kimmel Live. In May, Carpenter was included in Nylon Magazine's 25 Gen Zers Changing the World. In September, Carpenter appeared in The Hate You Give 2018, based on the novel of the same name. Carpenter at the 2018 MTV Video Music Awards. On November 9, 2018, Carpenter released her third studio album, Singular, Act 1, which received positive reviews. Originally set to be released as one album, Carpenter announced that the album would be split into 2 acts, with second act set for release in early 2019. The album garnered 2 singles, Almost Love and Sue Me, which both reached #1 on the U.S. Dance Club Songs chart. 2 promotional singles preceded the album, Paris and Bad Time. Carpenter promoted the album on The Today Show, as well as live with Kelly and Ryan. In March 2019, Carpenter embarked on her 3rd headlining concert tour, the Singular Tour. That month, Carpenter featured on Alan Walker's single On My Way alongside Farruko. In June 2019, she starred in the drama film The Short History of the Long Road. The film had had its world premiere at the Tribeca Film Festival and was released by FilmRise. It received positive reviews, with Carpenter's role being praised. On July 19, 2019, Carpenter released her 4th studio album, Singular, Act 2. The album received positive reviews upon release and found Carpenter exploring more personal topics than her previous works, including themes of anxiety and self-reflection. Various promotional singles were released for the album, including Pushing 20 Inches, Exhale, and In My Bed. To promote the album, she performed on Good Morning America's summer concert series and released a promotional single titled I'm Fakin' ahead of the album's release. The album features Carpenter's most successful song released under Hollywood Records, Looking at Me. In September 2019, Carpenter appeared in the Netflix film Tall Girl. She was cast in an adaptation of The Distance from Me to You. In February 2020, Carpenter released an R&B single titled Honeymoon Fades, which was received positively by critics. A month later, she made her Broadway debut in Mean Girls. The show closed the day after Carpenter's debut due to the COVID-19 pandemic closing Broadway and never reopened. She performed in 2 performances of the show. In May 2020, she performed Your Mother and Mine on the ABC broadcast television special, The Disney Family Sing-Along Volume 2. She had a recurring role in royalties, for which she performed Perfect Song for the soundtrack. In July 2020, Carpenter released the song Let Me Move You for the Netflix film Work It, in which she starred and executive produced. Her role received generally positive reviews. The film's soundtrack featured Zara Larsson's Wow, which led to Carpenter featuring on the remix of the song, released in September of that year. In October, Carpenter starred in the Disney Plus film Clouds, based on the life of Zach Sobiech. She contributed to the film's soundtrack. In December 2020, Carpenter was listed under Forbes' 30 Under 30 list in the Hollywood and Entertainment category. 2021 to 2023, Emails I Can't Send and Wider Recognition. In January 2021, Carpenter announced that she had signed to Universal Music Group's Island Records. She released her first single under the label, Skin, on January 22, 2021. The song peaked at number 48 and 33 on the Billboard Hot 100 and the Billboard Global 200, becoming her first entry on both charts. Carpenter performed the song on The Late Late Show with James Corden and at the 32nd Annual GLAAD Media Awards. In September, she appeared in the 3rd volume of Prime Video's Savage X Fenty Show. On September 9, 2021, Carpenter released Skinny Dipping, the lead single from her then forthcoming 5th studio album. She released Fast Times on February 18, 2022, as a follow-up single. That same month, she appeared in Tall Girl 2. In May 2022, Carpenter appeared in Amazon Studios' film Emergency, which had premiered at the 2022 Sundance Film Festival that January. Carpenter performing on the Emails I Can't Send tour in 2022. On July 15, 2022, Carpenter released her fifth studio album, Emails I Can't Send, which debuted and peaked at number 23 on the Billboard 200 with 18,000 album equivalent units sold. The album was further promoted with the singles Vicious, Because I Liked a Boy, and Nonsense. The Emails I Can't Send tour began in September of that year. Nonsense, the album's fifth single, went viral on TikTok due to Carpenter performing newly improvised sexually suggestive outros for the song on tour. The song peaked at number 56 on the Hot 100, was certified platinum by the RIAA, and reached the top 10 on the U.S. Pop Airplay chart. In March 2023, Carpenter released a deluxe edition of Emails I Can't Send. One of the bonus tracks, Feather, became the final single in August 2023, peaking at number 1 on the U.S. Pop Songs chart and number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100. She performed the song at the 2023 MTV Video Music Awards pre-show and at Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve. The song's music video, released in October 2023, drew polarized reactions due to its violent imagery and was filmed at the Annunciation of the Blessed Virgin Mary Catholic Church in Brooklyn, New York. The pastor apologized for allowing the shoot, unaware of the content. Carpenter responded, stating advance permission was granted, and noting Jesus was a carpenter. Bishop Robert J. Brennan relieved the pastor of his administrative duties in the diocese and held a mass of reparation to restore the sanctity of this church. The investigation into the priest who granted permission uncovered evidence that led to the indictment of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Carpenter was the opening act for the Eras Tour by Taylor Swift for a number of its Latin American, Australian, and Singaporean shows throughout 2023 and 2024. She released a cover of Swift's I Knew You Were Trouble as a Spotify special and said that opening for Swift was a childhood dream come true. Carpenter described her experience at the Eras Tour as unlike any crowd I've ever played to before. On November 17, 2023, Carpenter released a Christmas-themed EP, Fruitcake, featuring A Nonsense Christmas, which was released a year earlier. 2024 presents short and sweet and man's best friend. In March 2024, Carpenter featured on Norwegian singer-songwriter Girl in Red's single, You Need Me Now? On April 11th, Carpenter released the single Espresso and performed at the 2024 Coachella Music Festival the following day. Espresso topped the Billboard Global 200, peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and went on to win the MTV Video Music Award for Song of the Year. At the end of the year, Espresso became the second most streamed song of the year on Spotify at 1.6 billion. Carpenter followed with a second single, Please, 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 on June 6, 2024, which became her second global chart topper and her first U.S. Hot 100 #1 single. With these songs, she became the first female artist to hold the number 1 and 2 positions on the UK singles chart for 3 weeks in a row. Carpenter performing at the O2 Arena as part of her Short and Sweet tour in 2025. Carpenter released her 6th studio album, Short and Sweet, on August 23rd, debuting at number 1, the Billboard 200, with 362,000 units sold in its first week. All tracks charted in the top 50 of the Hot 100. At the 67th Annual Grammy Awards, Carpenter earned 6 nominations, including Best New Artist, while the album was nominated for Best Pop Vocal Album and Album of the Year. It won Best Pop Vocal Album, and Espresso won Best Pop Solo Performance. The third single, Taste, debuted at number 2 on the Hot 100, making Carpenter the first act since the Beatles to chart their first 3 top 5 hits within a single week. The first 3 singles stayed in the top 10 for 7 consecutive weeks, a record for any female artist. Carpenter also became the first artist in 71 years to spend 20 weeks atop the UK singles chart in a calendar year, with Taste as the longest-running UK number 1 of 2024. A deluxe version with 5 additional tracks, including a duet of Please 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 with Dolly Parton, was released on February 14, 2025. In September 2024, Carpenter appeared on Christina Aguilera's live Spotify exclusive special celebrating the 25th anniversary of Aguilera's self-titled debut album, duetting on What a Girl Wants, which was later nominated for a Webby Award. That month, she embarked on the Short and Sweet Tour, her first arena tour. Carpenter produced and starred in a Netflix holiday special, A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter, released on December 6th and featuring duets with Chappell Rowan, Tyla, and Shania Twain, among others. On June 5, 2025, Carpenter released the single Man-Child, which debuted at number 1 the Hot 100, marking her first debut and second number 1 song on the chart. She performed it for the first time at Primavera Sound 2025 and then at BST Hyde Park. Her 7th studio album, Man's Best Friend, was released on August 29, 2025. The reveal of the cover art, depicting Carpenter on her hands and knees with an out-of-frame man grabbing her hair while she paused at his leg, divided both critics and fans. Some found it degrading to women, while others found it provocative and satirical. The album debuted atop the U.S. Billboard 200, selling 366,000 equivalent album units in its first week, marking the highest-selling week for an album by a female artist in 2025, and third highest-selling week for an album overall that year. In August 2025, Carpenter performed as a headlining act at the Lollapalooza Festival in Chicago, where she was joined by Earth, Wind, and Fire. She featured on the title track of Taylor Swift's album, The Life of a Showgirl, released on October 3, 2025. Carpenter was a headlining act at the Austin City Limits Music Festival in October, performing with Shania Twain and the Chicks. She headlined several festivals throughout 2026, including Lollapalooza Chile, Brazil, and Argentina, Ascensionico, Festival Estéreo Picnic, and Coachella. She sparked controversy during the latter festival after dismissing a fan's zagruta, a traditional Arabic celebratory chant, as weird yodeling. She later apologized for her reaction following backlash. Artistry influences. Songs of female pop artists such as Madonna, Britney Spears, Mariah Carey, and Christina Aguilera acquainted Carpenter with pop music. Carpenter named R&B as a genre that often influences her work and cited Aguilera and Rihanna as major musical influences. She stated that Aguilera's 2002 song Beautiful helped her showcase and develop her own voice. She has cited Taylor Swift and Lorde as her songwriting influences, while also taking inspiration from Beyoncé's genre-bending works. She claimed Swift's live performances and work ethic have inspired her. Carpenter has also named Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, and Etta James as early musical influences. She also shared admiration for Ariana Grande, being inspired by her live performances and the resilience and positivity she shares in her music. Carpenter's music and image have often been compared to Grande's by critics and the media. Musical styles. Early in her career, Carpenter was described as a teen pop singer. Later on in her career, Carpenter began to embrace pop music, with ID writer Barry Pierce noting that after the release of Emails I Can't Send, she can rightfully claim the title of fully fledged pop star. Variety writer Thania Garcia noted that while Carpenter was considered a Disney princess for years, her transition from child actor to pop star has been slow, steady, and intentional. Carpenter felt that her transition from a Disney star was hard, with Pierce noting that she has since had more autonomy over her work. Carpenter noted in an interview with Vogue that her prior music put forth a facet of herself that she didn't feel was authentic at the time. Her stage presence has also been praised, with Vogue writer Chelsea Sarabia noting that as an artist and performer, Carpenter wields the full range of human expression as if it were an instrument of its own. Carpenter's albums often incorporate pop, dance, and R&B with elements of folk pop, acoustic, country, electropop, and house. Her albums post-Singular Act 1 have delved into styles such as dance pop, trap, hip-hop, and R&B. On her sound, Carpenter noted that her music has elements of everything. In an interview with Variety in 2024, Carpenter noted that she felt separated from her albums pre-Emails I Can't Send, noting that it was largely due to the shift in who I am as a person and as an artist pre-pandemic and post-pandemic. Alex Hopper of American Songwriter remarked storytelling as a motif of Carpenter's songs. Carpenter's voice has been described as a soprano. Songwriting? Carpenter has co-written most of her songs, with sole lyricist credits for 2 tracks on Emails I Can't Send. She has stated in interviews that she is the main songwriter on her songs. Her preferred songwriting process is to start writing by deciding the song's title and building on from there, documenting her life experiences confessionally. Producer Jack Antonoff, who collaborated with Carpenter on the production of her 6th album, Short and Sweet, commended the way she weaved humor into her music and her songwriting voice, naming ABBA as a reference point for Carpenter when creating music. Antonoff mentioned that he worked solely on the music of Sharpest Tool, with Carpenter handling the lyrics. Of Emails I Can't Send, Carpenter said, "I would hope that if someone had never listened to my music before, and they listened to this album, they would leave it feeling like they know me better as a person." Carpenter also worked on the compositions of some of her songs, including Espresso and Please Please Please. She also performs her own musical accompaniment with musical knowledge of the piano, bass, ukulele, guitar, and drums. She played the guitar during her set on the Short and Sweet tour and played the piano and electric guitar during her Coachella set in 2024. Other ventures? Activism and philanthropy. Throughout her career, Carpenter has actively supported charitable organizations. In 2016, Carpenter became an ambassador for the Ryan Seacrest Foundation and visited various children's hospitals on their behalf. That same year, for the release of her single Smoke and Fire, Carpenter released merchandise with proceeds going towards American Red Cross's 2 Steps, 2 Minutes campaign, which brought awareness to fire safety. In 2017, Carpenter performed at the We Day California event. That same year, she partnered with Do Something's Love Letters Challenge, aimed to combat isolation for senior citizens. Throughout her career, Carpenter has been an avid supporter of the LGBTQ+ community. In 2018, she participated in writing a love letter to the community for Billboard, stating that when fans come to my shows with pride flags, screaming the lyrics at the top of their lungs, I hope they feel an overwhelming rush of love and safety. In April 2020, Carpenter appeared in a charity version of If the World Was Ending, which supported Doctors Without Borders during the COVID-19 pandemic. Carpenter partnered with the nonprofit Plus One on the Short and Sweet tour to create the Sabrina Carpenter Fund, focusing on the issues of mental health, animal welfare, and the LGBTQ+ community. The fund took $1 from every tour ticket sold and reached $1 million faster than any other artist Plus One had partnered with. Half of the earnings from Carpenter's 2024 espresso-flavored ice cream collaboration with Van Leeuwen Ice Cream went to the Ali Forney Center, a nonprofit organization focused on supporting homeless LGBTQ+ youth. Carpenter's partnership with Headcount had more voter engagements for the 2024 United States presidential election than any other artist that year. Amid the mass deportations during the second Trump administration, Carpenter encouraged donating to the National Immigration Law Center. Her Tears performance at the 2025 VMAs included dancers in drag and signs in the background in support of trans rights. In December 2025, after the White House used a snippet of her song Juno in a video promoting ICE on X, formerly Twitter, she responded to the post with, "This video is evil and disgusting. Do not ever involve me or my music to benefit your inhumane agenda." In response, the White House refused to apologize for deporting dangerous criminal illegal murderers, rapists, and pedophiles from the United States. Referencing lyrics from Carpenter's Man-Child, they said anyone defending such people must be stupid, or is it slow? Shortly after, the White House deleted the tweet Carpenter replied to. Endorsements and products, Carpenter at a Converse photo shoot in 2019. In 2017, Carpenter endorsed Converse's Forever Chuck campaign alongside Rowan Blanchard, Alton Mason, and Cole Sprouse. In 2018, she became a brand ambassador for Aeropostale. She became a brand ambassador for Samsung USA in 2021 as part of the company's Team Galaxy partnership program. She performed at the Galaxy Creator Collective event hosted by Samsung in March 2022. Additionally, following her album's release in 2022, she performed a live stream concert at Samsung and Billboard's Summer of Galaxy annual event. In September 2022, Carpenter released her debut fragrance in partnership with Scent Beauty, titled Sweet Tooth. The fragrance was nominated as a finalist by the Fragrance Foundation Awards for Fragrance of the Year. In 2023, Carpenter announced her second fragrance, Caramel Dream. In July 2024, she announced her third fragrance, Cherry Baby. In April 2024, Carpenter endorsed and modeled for new pieces for a campaign for Skims Fits Everybody and Stretch Lace collections. She noted that "I loved the femininity of the whole creative and that I've always been a fan of the brand." That year in July, Carpenter appeared in an NBC advertisement for the 2024 Summer Olympics. In December 2024, Carpenter collaborated with Dunkin' Donuts to release an iced beverage, Sabrina's Brown Sugar Shaken Espresso, named in honor of her song Espresso. In April 2025, Fortnite collaborated with Carpenter to feature her titular skin as the main theme of Fortnite Festival Season 8, along with several other branded in-game cosmetics, including emotes and music tracks. In October 2025, Carpenter recorded public service announcements for MTA New York City Transit's subway system. Personal life, Carpenter was previously in relationships with actor Bradley Stephen Perry from 2014 to 2015 and actor Joshua Bassett from 2020 to 2021. She briefly dated singer Shawn Mendes in 2023 and actor Barry Keoghan from early to late 2024. Carpenter purchased a $1.7 million house in the Northridge neighborhood of Los Angeles in 2018. In 2023, she bought her second home, a $4.4 million house in the Hollywood Hills. In 2025, she purchased a $10 million penthouse at 108 Leonard in the Tribeca neighborhood of New York City.